Morning, everyone. Morning. Grant, would you lead us in prayer, please?
Heavenly Father, we want to take this moment to pause and thank you for all that we have on a daily basis. We are grateful for our board, the employees of Union County. We pray that you'll continue to watch over and care for us as we go about our business, and that we can continue to do our jobs with due diligence, and we pray that you'll watch over and care for each and every one of us as we leave here today. We ask forgiveness of our sins, our shortcomings. Pray that you'll bless everything we do on a daily basis to be an example for others. In Christ's name, amen.
The republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Lance, would you do the roll call, please?
Commissioner Harville.
Here.
Commissioner Pitts.
Here.
Commissioner Miller.
Here.
Commissioner Toller.
Here.
Commissioner Gould.
Having a quorum, I'll call the meeting to order. Make a motion to allow Commissioner Gould to call in by phone. He's out of town. I'll second.
Commissioner Harville.
Yes.
Commissioner Pitts.
Yes.
Commissioner Miller.
Yes.
Commissioner Toller.
Yes.
Welcome to Verizon Wireless.
Okay.
Good morning.
Hey, all right, got you on speakerphone, you're in board meeting. So.
Okay, if I don't answer real quick back on closer or something, I'm here, so.
Okay.
Good morning, David. First item on the agenda, approval of minutes. We have regular minutes from March 11th. Everybody had a chance to look.
I'll make a motion to approve minutes. Second.
We also have minutes.
You want to vote on?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Commissioner Harville.
Sorry.
Commissioner Pitts. Commissioner Miller.
Yes.
Commissioner Toller.
Yes.
Commissioner Gould.
Yes.
We also have the minutes from executive session litigation on February 25th, 2022. Everybody had a chance to review those. Have a motion to approve and remain closed.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes, executive session minutes in the paper bank clubs.
Second.
Commissioner Harville.
Yes.
Commissioner Pitts.
Yes.
Commissioner Miller.
Yes.
Commissioner Toller.
Yes.
Commissioner Gould.
All right, next item, public comments. Anyone?
Yeah. Good morning.
Morning.
My name is Sue Hieronymus, Hieronymus. And I'm sure, as you all know, I was here last with asking for county and state regulations for the disposal. I was curious to see if anybody could tell me what those were. Second of all, I have seen great improvements. There's been a lot more volunteer work, but still there is some of the ball is being dropped on care for the animals without involving any dogs in the morning and people that take care of the dogs in the evening. We've had some nights that's been down to like 30 degrees again, and outside dogs, no straw. There was, which was donated, straw in a shed, piled up in there. Should have been put in with the dogs, did not, and the person that was supposed to be there on the evening was called and said, you don't have to come in because there's rain coming. Okay, so the dogs only got care for that morning. they didn't get any care that evening and no bed when it was 30. And it's been more than one night, okay? Great improvements on the cleaning of things. Still, the back trough has feces that sits in piles in there. The drainage. I have talked to a person that would probably volunteer some time to come out and shoot grade and help out with maybe temporarily getting good drainage to the cesspool there. But I would prefer the proper state and county regulations. If you all could help me on that, that would be greatly appreciated. Whether or not you would like for me and my other volunteer to help with this situation, I really feel it's a big issue. Cats that didn't get their litter boxes cleaned out, and as you know, the last time they were diagnosed with, having a disease from, could be old food or old feces. One of my big issues that I have seen for weeks now is there is no chip reader for the dogs. So the dog, if they have a chip in them, there's no reader at Union County Animal Control to read the chip to see if it is linked to somebody that we could get their loved animal back to them. This to me is a really, really big issue. There's been, like I said, don't get me wrong, I have seen great improvement. I've also had many down walking dogs. They're getting more easy to deal with when you're going to get them out of the cage and they've been stuck in there for 24 hours a day, and throw them a bowl of food and maybe spray out the cage a little bit. Scenes where the dogs are getting posted on the Union County Animal Control on Facebook, which I think is awesome. So I don't know how I can go, in what direction I should go. And I'm asking for your help to tell me what you would like for me to do to better these things. I can't just go in there and say, well, you didn't do this, you didn't do that. I mean, I'm just a volunteer. But these animals have a voice, and I am it. These people are, and they really need the proper care and the proper undiseased facility. And if I can help out, now I think it's a county building, correct? Is it a county building? Right,
Yes,
okay.
yes.
I have knowledge, and I can operate equipment to get better drainage, drain tile and stuff, but I don't have the equipment to get it there. Okay, but if it's a county building, are we allowed to have maybe some county equipment come in? What can I do? So if you can help me out in any way like that. Okay.
I'll just respond to that in the fact that we are addressing those situations little by little. As you said, there's been improvements. I'm not making excuses for anything. Rome wasn't built in a day.
Oh, I get that. Yeah, it's gonna take time. I understand.
But just for example, I personally went along with the animal control administrator and my administrator and toured Paws this week, their new facility.
Mm-hmm.
We're moving toward that. And,
Oh, that would be great.
but like I said, it takes time. It takes money. I appreciate the volunteers, all we can get. I don't, without referring to the state's attorney and talking to him as far as what physically volunteers can do out there, I can't answer that at this point. But
Okay.
I will check into it. But,
Are you able to accept my information, like my phone number, and then,
Well,
I
sure.
mean, how can we converse through this? I mean,
Sure,
whatever I
sure.
can do.
Sure.
So if I
But
leave
like-
my phone number here,
That's fine. But like I said, we're moving in the right direction.
I do see that.
So, again, every day is not going to be perfect out there,
Yeah,
and I can't change that. All we can do is try, and that's what we're doing.
I understand. I see that, and I would like to try to help.
Okay.
So, and that's where
And
I'm,
I appreciate your comments, and we'll move on.
okay.
Thank you.
Do I give my number to you?
I'm sorry.
Do I give my number to him?
Yeah, you can do it
Yeah.
after
Okay.
the meeting.
Okay, that's fine.
Good morning, fellas. Russ Marsh is my name. Sue is doing a wonderful job, by the way. She's up there quite a bit, and she's not here to cause any problems. She just wants that feces taken care of because it is a health issue. And she doesn't have help. She has a gentleman that can come in and put a drain line in. Where does it go? We don't know. That's what she basically was asking you guys, is what we can do instead of washing the feces out on the ground and leaving it and throwing straw over top of it. She's there quite a bit, and she's puts a lot of time. That's what we need. We need a lot of her. I walk them as much as I can get up there, and these dogs decompress. I mean, it is unbelievable what they do if you can walk them for 15 minutes. But what I'm here to say is I did contact a 4-H club. We're gonna have some help coming up there. I told them they have to contact Union County. What's great about it is they need to do community service hours to get patches. These kids are 14, 15, 16 years old. So, you know, they can go up there hopefully on a Saturday and a Sunday, because this is when we need these dogs walked. Basically on the weekend, because like they come in, they do their thing, they go. So that's a good thing. Next thing I want to talk about is Commissioner Howard brought up last week or 2 weeks ago on the doing a commission, put a group together, what we can do. I don't know if you guys talked about it, but I thought that was a Bow Wow Club, he brought it up or whatever. I think that would be awesome. It would be awesome if we could put people together and see what we can do. I don't know how you would want to do it, but again, we're not here to cause problems. We're here to make it better, and it is getting better. It really is. And I thank you for the time that you give us to come up and speak. And after the meeting last 2 weeks ago, we had some conversation with a couple of you gentlemen, and I thought it was wonderful. We're all on the same page. And as long as we get out there and give our time to animals, we're good to go. So I thank you for your time.
Thank you. Any other comments? Committee reports. Anybody?
Yeah, I got some. I want to talk about animal control a little bit too. I'm commissioner. I go up there, I do all the mowing, I do all that. As far as the feces goes, we're just going to put up with that until we get that new building up. It's been like that since the beginning of time out there. I do my best in the summertime to keep the grass cut low where all that stuff can go away. There's really no point in dumping a bunch of money in shooting grave and landscaping off ground, and this summer we're going to have a new building. As of February the 1st, we moved out 47 animals. That's counting dogs and cats, and that's either through adoption or through rescue. And since February the 1st, we have picked up 22 more. I go out there daily, or usually daily, every other day, and I do my own inspections. I either do it before hours or I do it after hours. And I shoot video and I take pictures every time I'm out there. So, and I also take other commissioners with me when I go out there with me, or some other courthouse staff. Just to let you know, I take pictures of dogs every time I'm out there, so wherever I have to go, I can compare to a later date or to a future date. So I really believe those animals out there are being well taken care of. I really do. I don't see anybody dropping weight. I don't see anybody getting harmed, in harm's way. I do agree that dogs do need more personal attention, like walking. You know, that's a big thing. I've got dogs that all 4 of them's in the house. But other than that, I don't really have a lot more to say about it.
Can I say something, sir? Can I speak?
Yeah, but we're not gonna get into a back and forth here on this.
I want to speak. Again, Russ Marsh is my name. We're not saying that they're not being fed or they're taken care of. Actually, since the last meeting, we've got a lot of cats out of there. They've gone north. So that's awesome, okay? It's not about them not being treated well. It's just about the feces and stuff. The crew they got there now, is the people they got working there are fabulous. Dakota and whoever else, I can't remember the other person.
Got good staff.
They're doing really
Real
good.
good staff.
And we're not, like I said, we're not here to start that problem, that they're not getting fed, they're not getting this, and not getting that.
But they are not getting straw on cold nights.
Yeah.
And
Now,
it was more
let me stop you. We're not having a back and forth here. That's not allowed.
Right. But, yeah, it's not anything about them not getting fed, they're taken care of, they get their treats, I've seen that. It's just about the feces and what Suharana says is straw, but, you know, they're being taken care of, and the staff you got is wonderful. Like I said, my main concern is we need more help, more walking time with these animals.
Now,
And I know it's hard.
Volunteers, you know, somebody volunteer after they have to be at least 16 years old.
Exactly.
And you should sign it for.
And that's why I said they need to get a hold of administration to put something together so we can do all this, because it's all safety. We totally understand it's all safety. So, but again, it's not about not feeding the dogs and everything. I mean, they're cleaned all the time, the kennels are good, and like I said, Suharana is up there quite a bit. Yeah, and I know you go out there quite a bit because we hear, so it is what it is, but, if we could all put some time in together and half hour or whatever here and there, you got grandkids, you got kids, you got neighbors, hey, you want to go up there and walk a couple dogs, you know, instead of walking around the track 15 times, go up there and walk the dog down the road. So I thank you for your time, fellas.
Thank you. Any other committee reports?
Well, I have just a little bit of information for the board. I've been in contact with Tiffany down there, the director of Southern Five, and we're thinking that maybe the next meeting she might be able to attend the grants, the planning and commission. So I'm hoping she gets to come to the next meeting.
She just needs to contact Angie or somebody to put it on the agenda.
Yes.
Any other reports? Building permits?
Yeah, we've got two. First one is parcel 0523037789A1. It's for a pole barn, no floodplain, no subdivision, recommend for approval. And the second one is parcel 1400116162. It's for a shed, there's no floodplain, it's in an existing subdivision, also recommend for approval.
Jeff, do you have any updates on the highway department or anything? I see you're mounting up rock back here to start your.
Yeah, I'll start making, in a couple of weeks, we'll start making our patch mix, every year. Make new batches of that, start our patching and prepping for the oil chip. We stay pretty busy with all the rain, but yeah, it's like, almost like Groundhog Day. We go clean all the pipes out and regrade the roads, and the next week it rains. Yeah,
For the next one.
start again.
I thought you were gonna take dirt bikes and jump that pile. Is what you were
Well,
doing.
yeah, get probably this week.
Any questions on the building permits? I'll get a motion to approve.
Motion approved.
Mr. Harville?
Yes.
Mr. Pitts?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Toller?
Yes.
Mr. Gould?
Yes.
Under old business resolution, excuse me, to approve compensation for certain elected officials. We're going to keep that tabled at the moment. That's old business. New business, resolution, approve payment of bills. Everybody had a chance to look at the bill list.
Make a motion to pay our bills.
I second that.
Mr. Harville?
Yes.
Mr. Pitts?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Toller?
Yes.
Mr. Gould?
Yes.
Item B, Shawnee Community College update, SCC impact happenings in Union County, Dr. Tim Taylor. Assuming that would be you.
What gave it away? Is it my suit?
Well,
Thank you. Thank you for having me this morning. I really appreciate some time. I don't want this to really be the first time that you all get to see me, or excuse me, the last time that y'all get to see me. I'll try to be even more frequent at some of these board meetings, and I want to be visible. Well, we know that in the near past, the college hasn't been a really good community partner, and there's been a lot of negative information about the college that is out in the community, and some of that's very well deserved. When I first arrived to college, it was about 18 months ago. On my first board meeting, the night that they hired me, they also approved a $1.9 million deficit budget, which was a surprise to me at the time. And I had asked for the budget prior to being hired, but it was kind of crazy. At that time, we had no senior staff that were full-time. They were all temporary, they were interim. And we were facing what we call accreditation problems. Without accreditation, we can't give financial aid. And we were facing problems on 3 fronts. One of them was with our governance structure itself, our academic assessment structure, and our finance, of course, was also under scrutiny. And there was a pretty heavy negative culture at the college in that time. There was a strategic plan in place, but that strategic plan was not strategic. So it wasn't really going to help us grow. In the last 18 months, we have hired a number of senior staff that I think are very committed to improving the college, and the force of the college is going to be on community engagement. If you notice, we've been very active in the community recently. We went to every high school in our district. We went to just about every grade school. We've been to a number of these kinds of meetings. We've been engaged with Rotary, Shrine, all the different community clubs. We're trying to get out and be a good community partner. We are looking at, we did revise our strategic plan, and it is very strategic at this point, and it has about $3.5 million worth of initiatives that we're going to need to implement over the next 5 years. But they're aimed at developing programs and services that we can look at trying to keep our talent local. We've kind of developed 2 metrics that we're looking at as we develop new programs. One of them is can they get a job locally? Is it a high wage, high job? And if they're not, then we're not going to do those programs. For example, we can put together a biotechnology program where people could learn to work on medical equipment. But if they were going to get a job, they're going to probably need to go to St. Louis, so they're going to need to go to, Indianapolis or somewhere in Kentucky or North Carolina or California, because that's where the jobs are. As we continue to do that, our families are going to continue to leave, our county populations are going to continue to shrink, and we're going to have less ability to make a difference for the individuals that we serve locally. So our metrics for any program development is can they get a job locally because they're a high need for that position, and can that person earn a living wage? So we do have a number of programs that we're going to be looking at and moving forward. Our accreditation problems have been resolved for now. We did get notification that our assessment practices are now in line with federal standards. Our financial problems are starting to go away. I'm starting to really work on a budget, and I think you'll see some more about that. And our culture is, when the accreditors came in, it's noted that it's 180 degrees from what it was in just 18 months ago. So we are doing a number of things. We want to be known as a community partner that supports economic development, and to do that, we feel like we need to work with you, and that's our intention. And so if there's anything that you feel the college can do to help strengthen the Union County area, the college wants to be there to help. So with that, I'll be happy to answer any questions that you might have.
So you are making progress on the deficit budget?
Yes, sir.
None of my business, I'm not on that board, but
Yeah, it was kind of shocking. We have a lot of
we can't pass a budget.
You can't pass a budget.
Not like that, no. illegal.
It's definitely not our desire as well. The reality is we passed a $1.9 million deficit budget, but ended with a surplus last year. And this year we do have a balanced budget, but
I personally, I want to thank the community for your offer of help from the college. And, we may be calling on you.
well, please do. We feel like that's the purpose, one of the major purposes of the college is to facilitate economic development. And we know if we're not working together in partnership, our population is going to continue to decline. I mean, you've seen it from the census from 2000 to 2010, we lost about 10% of our population. Again, from 2010 to 2020, another 10, 11%. And, you know, well, who's left are the older folks and the poor. And so, because all the middle class are moving out, taking jobs and costs. And so we have to do what we can to stimulate economic growth in our community to keep our residents.
Well, I'd like to invite you to, however your schedule works, to continue to come, give us an update every 3 to 6 months, whatever you feel like is appropriate, but we would like to stay involved.
We would love to do that.
Appreciate that.
I think I'm trying to get more employees engaged in the community as well. And so we have an ANA Center individual that's going to probably be coming to the board meetings more frequently. But I do want to come at least once a year and maybe even provide a presentation, kind of like an annual report. If that would be something that you're interested in.
Oh, yeah.
Kind of show you where our enrollment's at, a little bit about finances and where our expectations are moving forward.
No, I appreciate that. I had a daughter went there a few years, played volleyball, softball, back in the day, and, it's a great facility. And matter of fact, her husband also went there. And they went on and got the degree and they're still here, both of them working in the community, so.
My wife retired from Shawnee College, I believe it's 7 years ago. She was the Burzard.
Oh, really?
And I retired from there about 6 years ago.
So yeah, you got some friends.
We've got a footprint.
Well, thank you for your information and please keep us informed.
Will do. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Item C, approval of resolution for sale of delinquent property held by the county trustee. And this is normal happening this time of year. So do you have anything to add?
No, it's just another batch of seal bids, another process.
I make a motion we approve the resolution for sale of delinquent property held by the county trustee. I'll second.
Mr. Harville?
Yes.
Mr. Pitts?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Toller?
Yes.
Mr. Gould?
Yes.
Next item, collective bargaining agreement, highway department and operating engineers, local 318. Yeah, oh, yeah. This is another success. Might add another 5-year contract done that we negotiated. We're moving, I think I'm repeating myself here, but we're moving toward all of the union contracts being 5 years versus they've been 3 mostly in the past, which helps everybody, the county and the employees. But this was a good contract. The bargaining committee was very much in favor of it, and what I understand, the highway employees were tickled to death, so it's a plus all over. So I make a motion, we approve the collective bargaining agreement, highway department and operating engineers, local 318.
I second.
Mr. Harville?
Yes.
Commissioner Pitts?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Toller?
I've read the contract, and it's a very good contract. I need to understand.
Let's understand. Commissioner Gould?
Yes.
Okay, item E, resolution requesting acceptance of proposals for the furnishing of materials for the combined proposal 2022 maintenance by Department of Transportation. Is that
This is just right our normal, where we bid out basically our rock and all our asphalt materials for the year. And it's the same thing we do every year, just approving those bids that we received a couple weeks ago.
I'll make a motion that we approve the resolution requesting acceptance of proposals for the highway department.
Second.
Commissioner Harville?
Yes.
Commissioner Pitts?
Yes.
Commissioner Miller?
Yes.
Commissioner Toller?
Yes.
Commissioner Gould?
Yes.
I'm not aware of anything we need to go into executive session for.
I don't have any.
Anybody? Other business. Grant, you wanna give us an update on the new box truck?
I do. We got it last week. This was the unit that we talked about that we went through a lot of phone calls to find. As everyone knows, the shortage across the country on materials and being able to obtain vehicles is tough. The International, which is now 10 years old, motor problems again, so we had located this truck. It came from near the Texas-Arkansas line from a rebuilder, but it was a 2022 F-350 four-wheel drive chassis. It's on an Osage box, which is what my preference is for quality. The box is 10 years old, and I would invite the board to go look inside of it. You won't know it from new. We're in the process of making it our own since it was built, it was originally belonged to West Memphis Fire. So we're making some adjustments on how their cabinet layout was, but we're working on it. Small bites of the apple every day. But we should have this truck, if all goes well, have a certificate of origin, I hope next week, and I can start title work and what we have to do with Secretary of State. It'll have to have 3 inspections after that. We'll have to have a road inspection, of course, a BLS inspection through public health, and then an advanced life support inspection through public health and the system. So we've still got a few hurdles to climb over, but my expectation is if all goes well, that we could have it on the road and ready to go for the public in about 4 weeks. I can't say I can hold the bet because that's up to how quickly we get things turned around the Secretary of State. Past that, I just wanted to publicly thank the board because the board stepped in at a time when we were getting in dire need to be able to make sure that we kept advanced life support vehicles on the road for the public. And they stepped up in mid-budget, and we were able to make this happen. The update on the truck that we ordered back in November, to give you a comparison of finding this truck and the one that we have ordered, which we'll be thrilled to get as well. I don't even have a chassis delivery date on that, so the supply chain issue right there. So we are very, very fortunate to be able to come with this vehicle and hopefully have it on the road soon and keep the public protected.
I went down and looked at this new vehicle. I mean, it looks like it is brand new. But very pleased that you were able to find this that quick, and glad we could do it. It's something that we're in bad need of at the moment. So,
yes, I just wanted to thank the board.
Maximum. I was going to update the voter purge is going well. I want to thank right here to my right, Lisa in my office has done an amazing job with it. It's been a very big undertaking, going through all the voter list and getting all this information correct. And want to, if you've received something, a voter registration card that is not correct, or for someone that's moved out or has passed away, we need to know. That's what we're trying to do. That's the whole idea. So it's going to be a drastic new look for this list because we've got quite a few that we've got to cancel out. So it's been a big undertaking, but after it's done, I feel like we're going to have a very, very clean voter registration list. So, but if you need to check on your status, let us know. It's easier to do it now than when show up to the day of the election and realize that you've moved or something has changed on your voter registration, because you will be canceled. So please, let us know if something needs to be done. But she's taken this and done a fantastic job. So
which direction is the voter base for you?
Well, as far as registration numbers, they'll be down as far as the voter registration numbers, but they were probably inflated because it's been 5 years since it's been done. So there's been a lot of, changes that we've had to do. So the plan is next year to review some stuff with you guys on maybe some precincts and things, but we're going to do another purge next year as well in 23. And I feel like after these next 2 elections, and that'll be 3 elections, by that time and do another purge, we'll have it pretty tight in 23 where it should be exactly right, or as close to right as we can get it. So it's quite an animal, and it's a living one, and it's always changing, but we're taming it. I guess that's the best way to put it. So
It's always changing.
yep.
Anything else? Motion to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn.
I said that.
Commissioner Harville,
Yes.
Commissioner Pitts,
Yes.
Commissioner Miller,
Yes.
Commissioner Toller,
Yes.
Commissioner Gould.
Thanks, everyone.